everyone, welcome back to another Cut Above with Chris. It's been a great day for mail calls, a great day for shaving and my getting all round really. I've got some beautiful soaps in, I've got some lovely balms and a beautiful splash in. And I'm going to be using a product today which isn't staying in the den, but I'm glad it's here so I can give it a bit of a blast and see how it works and see how good it is. Now, it's a 200 gram tub, glass jar, sorry, so it's a full glass jar. And as you can see there, it is Martin de Candre Savon Aracea. Now, there's his label there on the top. In terms of ingredients, stearic acid, coconut oil, water, potassium hydroxide, glycerin, sodium chloride. That's it, there's nothing else in here. So, I'm really looking forward to actually seeing how good this soap is. Now, I got this on loan from Craig, who is the artisan over at Face Fat. We met up this morning for coffee and a bit of breakfast, and he dropped this with me as well for a bit of a loan. Now, I don't know how much he's used this, but you can see there, like this is jam packed, this jar, and it looks like it's edge to edge. It's not like a hollow tub inside, it just looks absolutely chockers full. 200 grams of soap. I am not sure how much that is in ounces. And I have to say, I couldn't really tell you anyway because I know this glass jar weighs a lot. But it's unscented, so there's no scent to go with it, so I've got nothing to sort of appreciate scent-wise. I thought I got a bit of a scent off it when I unboxed it earlier, when I first opened the tub up, and there's no scent off it at all really. Just flick the excess out the brush, and the brush today is the Simulg Owners Club Boadger. So it's 50-50 I think. Yeah, 50-50 finest hair and boar hair. So this knot was partly broken in by myself, and then the break-in process was pretty much finished off by Spencer Frankel over at Spence Shaves, or Spencer Frankel I think his channel is now. So here we go, straight onto the soap. Now Craig mentioned that this stuff just explodes. I can see already that I'm starting to get a good load into the brush just from that very short amount of time. So you can see there. Now I've got no idea how much of this soap you need. It's a very hard soap. It's almost borderline triple milled. And being vegetal based, it should lather up pretty easy. I find vegetal based soaps actually get to the point of finished article quicker than tallow based soaps. Although the latest offerings from Noble Ossa, Holy Corn, Barrister and Man would tend to say otherwise. And Ariana and Evans. The other soap base that I'll mention that I've used recently, that I've actually really enjoyed, I think it's a great soap base, but the scents haven't been great for me, and I have reacted to pretty much everything that I put on my face from them, is Oleo Soapworks, the Canal base. The actual soap base itself is excellent. I cannot grumble at the soap base, it's just the actual soap itself. I hope Craig's not going nuts here that I'm whizzing like mad into this soap, but as you can see, it still hasn't made much of a dent on it really. Amazing. So the Blackbird is all squared away, it's all packaged, ready to be sent to its new owner. I can tell you one thing, it's slick soap. There's literally no scent off it. Now, tallow based unscented, which I've tried before, I can't remember the brand of it. But it did have a bit of a scent to it. Yeah, it's certainly quite slick. I'm surprised with these soaps, you know, because there's not a lot of ingredients in it. Now, Face Fat soaps got a lot more ingredients, but they are all high quality, good quality ingredients, including the scents of them within essential oils. But there's not much in this soap at all. You can see already there's a bit of a gloss going on there. It's a little peak as well. But let's paint the load on. And this sort of stuff, this is obviously vegetal based. So I base all my vegetal soaps on the best vegetal soap that I've used, which is Grooming Department and Face Fat. Right, let's start adding some water. This is really dense. Holy shit. Stuff. It's lathering amazingly. Wow, look at that. That is super impressive. It doesn't actually, for unscented, it doesn't actually taste too bad either. You know me and my taste test. Right, the blade for today will be this. The Australian Super Stainless, and as you can see on the back here, 5 dots. So this is its 6th shave. Now it's popping straight into the Karve. So you can see there. It's in the top cap, it's now in the base cap, or in the safety bar, or whatever you want to call it, and we just screw it up. Easily the smoothest mechanism I've used on any razor, it just glides on, there's no roughness, nothing at all. This lard is insane, really is. Right, so here we go, 6th shave on the Gillette Super Stainless Australian made vintage blade, the same ones that are hanging on my door. Very hard to come by now. I think since I've used them, I think they've all sold out from where I can see them. I can't find those blades anywhere now. And here we go with the grain. Oh yes, hello Karve. So this soap retails, I think over here for like 90 bucks a jar. Is it worth that? So far it's really good, it lathers easy, it's very slick. It's got amazing protection, I can feel the thick cushiony lather, it's very dense. Yeah, it's a really high quality soap. Surprising, because you don't see it used that much. But then again, $90 a jar, Australian. Do you really expect it to be anything otherwise? This is obviously for those out there that can afford to spend that little bit extra, or massive amount extra. Really, you can pick up a soap, for me in my opinion, which is very similar, or if not better quality, for $70 cheaper. But it's very slick, it's very protective, the lather's super easy. You get a full jar. I mean, that is chock as full, this jar. It is glass, so it's a little bit more expensive, it's a little bit more elegant. The labels are a little bit boring, doesn't look that great to actually look at, but that's a minor thing really. Not so much for me, but I know for most it is. Boy oh boy, is this stuff lather. Wow. If I could afford it, if I had a spare $100 just lying about, would I buy it? I probably would, if I'm honest. We'll see what the post-shave holds. It is expensive soap. Given that this has been used, I would imagine, quite a bit by Craig. And then I've used it and it's hardly moved off the top of that jar. It's going to last a while as well. I gave up trying to save money in this hobby a long time ago. Oh, this race is amazing. As is the blade. I have to be honest and say I thought this blade was on its way out. It clearly isn't. It feels amazing. Just exceptional. The silk is really high-end quality silk. It just goes to show sometimes less is more. There's hardly anything in this soap in terms of product, yet it's just incredible. It's really slick, it's really cushiony, it's really easy to build a lather with. The residual slickness is excellent. I can already feel that the post shave is going to be great. Like I say, there's no scent with it, so it's great if you're using if you want something that you're guaranteed that it won't affect your splash or anything of your aftershave, post-shave products. Let's just see what the third lather's like. Now, this brush is notoriously either brilliant at creating a third lather or useless. I can tell you right now it's making an amazing lather with this for a third pass. Well, this is definitely a top 3 soap base. I can't speak for scents, obviously. In fact, it's definitely top 3. It's borderline top 1, but it's definitely top 3. Wow. The Karve razor just feels incredible. It's just melting the hair off. Wow. Yeah, the Black Lion Blackbird is a great razor, there's no doubt about it. But the Karve's better. I know a lot of people out there will think I'm biased now and because it's the only razor in the den, but it's nothing to do with that, it's just a better shaver. It's better than anything I've ever used. This soap's phenomenal. So there we go. What a shave. Really, a shave can't get much better than that. For me personally anyway, at least. But that was just so good. The soap's exceptional. Martin de Candre. Now I've seen a lot of people use it that are, I would probably say, in the luxury market of the wet shaving hobby, those that have got a little bit more cash. You don't see it too often in dens like my own and the other guys out there that have got the shaving channels, because it's a lot of money for a soap. Is it really that good that it's worth $70 more? Or say, let's just say $60 more than Australian Private Reserve? No, it's not. But it is better. So, if you want, in my opinion, probably, I would say that for what it is, might even be better than the grooming department and face fat. I would say it probably is better than grooming department and face fat in terms of vegetal based soaps. I don't know whether Craig will agree with me, considering he makes face fat. But that's what you're aiming for, that sort of quality in your soap. And Craig over at Face Fat and Mohammed over at Grooming Department are pretty much there with it. But obviously they've got a scent in there as well, which makes a difference. So I've just rinsed the soap off, and as you can see, it's barely moved at all, if any. Really exceptional soap. I like the labels. The labels are sort of old school gloss labels, but they're completely waterproof, completely water resistant. My only sort of downside to this whole thing is it's a metal lid, and as you can see just here, you can see there is a dent on the lid. That would piss me off, spending all that money and you get a dented lid. I would much prefer if they had the sort of really weighty, I'm saying plastic, but obviously we're trying to steer clear of plastic these days as best we can, but the plastic, the heavy top plastic, I mean, to be honest with you, even a specialised glass lid on glass. I don't know how that works, but that would be even nicer, I would think. It'd be a lot nicer. But beautiful soap. So it was Martin de Candre. So there's the tub, so that's all it is. Martin de Candre, Savon Aracea. That is the ingredients list right there. Very minimalistic soap, minimalist soap, and it performs exceptionally well. Just rinsing the brush out again there. It was just needing a little bit of a touch up. I think there's just a little bit of soap still stuck in the bottom of the knob. That's better. The brush for today was the Simog Owners Club 2012 special edition, and this is pretty much the Karve knot from Simog's famous brush that was one of the biggest sellers and one of the most expensive resold brushes out there. But it's a beautifully dense knot. It's got heaps of backbone. It has got very soft tips now, I have to say. For what it had before, there's still a lot of scrub in there. There's a tiny little bit of scratch. But other than that, it's a beautiful little brush. The razor for today doesn't really need any more introduction, but boy oh boy did it shave well. And it was the Karve Christopher Bradley razor. Solid brass. Now this has taken a long time to patina, so I'm assuming it's a very high quality brass and not full of all the, full of zinc and lead and everything else. And I think that's why it's not patinaing quite so fast as, say, cheaper brass would. But high quality made and just a shit hot shaver. You won't find, in my opinion, a better shaver. You just won't. For me, it's my number one. It always will be until something else comes along. But I've tried a lot of razors along the way and nothing has come quite anywhere near this razor, if I'm honest. I thought the Blackbird was there, I thought it was doing well, but then I pull this back out again and it just blows it away. I've got one little weeper there and that's it, and I'm almost BBS everywhere. Post-shave feel on the Martin de Candre is absolutely beautiful. That is moisturisation, like wow, feels great. So I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to put any post-shave on. I don't think it's required, and I'll finish off tonight with a splash before, or in a couple of hours time before work, with a splash or a cologne before I go to work. And that's me done and dusted. Really enjoyed that. Thanks very much, Craig, for sending it over. I know you enjoy this soap. I know it's one of your favourites, and I can really see why. I'd love to try this in a scent, I've got to say. It's very, very tempting to try and get one or actually buy one in a fougere or something like that, just to see what the scents are like that go with the soap. And if they're as good as the soap is, then they're going to be top tier, probably number one. Excellent, excellent quality soap. You guys stay safe, drive safe, don't drink and drive, and I'll catch you guys in the next shave. Cheers.